How about Damari Monsanto, a three-point threat? He's made 84, and that leads the conference in that category. Kevin Keats, the head coach of the Wolfpack. Keats in his 6th year, and he's got a big man on the inside. DJ Burns, watch for number 30. He goes 6'9", 275, and shoots 57% from the floor, 3rd best in the ACC. Wake Forest in the black, NC State white and red, and here we go with ACC basketball.
And immediately you see the matchup that we've been talking about from the beginning. Jarkel Joiner meeting Tyree Appleby above half court.
NC State with those throwback 1983 uniforms. Poked away on the inside, and Hildreth saves it. Here's Carr. Drops it low. Got it back, and Carr lays it in.
Nice interior passing between Marsh and Carr to be able to get the easy bucket. And that's one of the areas where Wake Forest will try to attack NC State up front to see if they can get DJ Burns into some foul trouble.
Wolfpack coming off that huge emotional win on Sunday against visiting North Carolina. 77-69. Corey, you were in the building. It was an energetic atmosphere for college basketball.
It was electric in this building. Talking to some of the fans earlier as they get low in the shot clock. DJ Burns getting to that patented left-hand jump hook. And you're talking about a young man who had a strong performance against Wake Forest first time out. 31 points for him, and off to a great start here.
Yeah, that was January 28th, and Winston-Salem a 2-point win for NC State, and Burns led the way with a game-high 31 points, as Corey mentioned. The Appleby pass goes nowhere. Here's Smith. Joiner from the wing. Last 3 games for Joiner, despite that miss, Corey, averaging 23 points and 6 boards for Jarkel Joiner.
He's been special, Tom, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that he struggled the 2 games prior to that as Cam Hildreth gets downhill and is able to finish off the glass, winning his matchup one-on-one.
Smith nowhere to go. NC State shot 45% for the game against the Tar Heels, 64% in the second half to outlast North Carolina. Burns, the twisting shot. He gave him a little shoulder and a little shimmy.
And then a conversation with the student section, with the fans showing up. Of course, DJ Burns, the people's champ here at PNC Arena.
The transfer from Winthrop out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Shooting a ridiculous 63% in his last 4 games. Appleby stumbles down. The foul's going to go against Smith.
DJ Burns, who catches the basketball often beyond the 3-point line, backs his defender down, and of course we saw the jump hook prior, and then it's simply a little dream shake, the fall away, and he's a guy that loves to have fun on social media.
With Thurl Bailey from the 1983 team. Says if you can't make it to the game, I'm not disappointed, but I want you to come out and support the pack.
Yeah, of course, he wants to make sure he's the guy that does it all. As Tyree Appleby becomes that guy doing it all, knocking down his first 3. But DJ Burns, he not only wants to perform on the court, he wants to make sure he invites everyone to see his performance.
Appleby knows all about 3-pointers. How about 258 for his collegiate career for the graduate student, a couple of years at Florida. Burns, the fake. Marsh defended it well.
But you see early, Steve Ford's going to allow DJ Burns to work one-on-one. He's got a complement of centers.
Hildreth all the way to the rim.
Cameron Hildreth is aggressive, and one of the things we've got to talk about when you look at this game today, you're seeing the 2 guys in the ACC that have had a triple-double this season. Cameron Hildreth for Wake Forest, and of course Jarkel Joiner for NC State.
Joiner did it against Syracuse. That's a foul on the shot by Smith. Score the bucket.
We have a treat tonight. We've got 3 of the top 4 scorers in the ACC on the floor tonight. Taquavion Smith, the sophomore, continues to be impressive, drawing the attention of Wake Forest's best perimeter defender in Cameron Hildreth, but gets the bucket and an opportunity for the and 1.
Smith at the free throw line, the sophomore from Greenville, North Carolina. Already gone over 1,000 points in his NC State career. Took only 58 games to do that. And he completes the old school 3-point play, coming off a 12-point performance against North Carolina, Corey, but he missed all 4 of his three-point attempts.
But he also made plays for his teammates. He's not just a guy that scores. He's one of the top assist guys in the ACC as well.
Appleby again for a three, and he's looking over at the student section.
Well, again, he's seen DJ Burns do it, so therefore, Tyree's going to make sure he has a little conversation.
Jamie Lucky on the whistle, and a foul coming up against Wake Forest. That's going to be Zach Keller, number 25, his first.
And we mentioned the complement of 5 men of centers that Steve Forbes has to throw at DJ Burns. We've got Bradford also, but Keller is going to be out quickly. Just picked up his second foul after just stepping on the court. He's a young man that hasn't played much as of late, but has a number of starts to his credit this season.
Keller seeing action in his 14th game this season. Steve Forbes, head coach for Wake and the coach of the year in the ACC a season ago. His team trying to make some noise at the tournament. How about Jack Clark straight away for three?
Jack Clark in his 4th game back, averaging close to 10 points per game in those games. And you're talking about a young man that missed 10 games. Kevin Keats and the fan base here very happy to have him back in the lineup.
Jack Clark missed those 10 games that Corey mentioned with a core muscle injury suffered against Clemson here in Raleigh on December 30th. Out of the corner, Appleby. Oh, it's heat check time. This time he does it in front of the pack bench.
But the small mistake by Clark, he tried to shoot through the gap on the screen, giving Tyree Appleby more than enough space. You've got to trail and run him off the line.
Appleby is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. This is Keller against Burns, leaning in and scoring. Six points now for DJ Burns. Monsanto. Appleby, tough catch and release. And his first miss, Carr preserves the possession. Carr leaning in, the transfer from Delaware's got 2.
Nice patience by Andrew Carr. Recognizes he's got the smaller Jarkel Joiner on him, goes to the post, and is able to finish off the second chance point.
Carr is a double-digit scorer on the season, 11.3 points per game. Oh, Joiner elevates and hits.
Talking to Jarkel Joiner pregame, I talked about you've got another big-time matchup here tonight. He said, oh, yeah, that's my guy. He and Tyree Appleby go back to the SEC days together. But I said to him, well, that's the best ones to go at. You got to go at your friends even more.
Monsanto for 3.
Wormy, one of the things we talked about prior to the game was this would be a high-scoring game, and it has been just that early as Jarkel Joiner gets downhill. One of the things for certain, Jarkel Joiner is not going to be the guy that just sits back and allows Tyree Appleby to go at him. He's going to go back.
Joiner is closing in on 2,000 points in his collegiate career. As Corey mentioned, he played at Ole Miss. Appleby played at Florida. So their paths have crossed in the past. And already once this season. A win for NC State in Winston-Salem and a foul called. And that'll go against the pack. End-to-end action, Corey Alexander.
Absolutely. DJ Burns getting it going early, but Tyree Appleby has the answer. Knocking down not 1, not 2, but continues to knock down the 3 balls. 3 3-pointers already for Tyree Appleby in the first 6.5 minutes of this game, and he's off to a great start. The ACC's leading scorer with 9 points already, and continues to be aggressive attacking the basket as well.
Hanging out there with official Jamie Lucky. And the 1983 team being honored tonight. Sidney Lowe on the left, Thurl Bailey also there, Cozell McQueen. What a team of destiny. Sidney Lowe, the MVP of the ACC tournament that year when they beat Virginia in the championship game, and then had to play Virginia in the regional final as well.
I can remember watching that entire NCAA tournament, watching that ACC tournament. Of course, the golden era of ACC basketball.
Batted around, Burns able to corral it. So before the break, Terquavion Smith picked up a second personal foul. So right now he is on that pack bench. By the way, the teams combined right now 83% shooting, and it's going to get a little bit better thanks to Joiner.
What we're seeing right now is quick on quick. When you look at Jarkel Joiner in the matchup with Tyree Appleby, both these guys lightning quick and ultra aggressive.
6 points now for Joiner. That was Appleby. Fouled on the move, top of the key.
This is almost impossible to guard. You see Jarkel Joiner in just the half step, setting up Tyree Appleby, getting right downhill for the easy bucket.
Jack Clark picked up the foul for NC State. His first. This is Hildreth. On the drive, and a quick layup by Hildreth.
Cameron Hildreth has set this a third attack for him getting downhill, getting to the basket. He continues to be aggressive as well, taking some of the pressure off of Tyree Appleby, not to have to do everything on the offensive end.
6 points for Hildreth, who had that triple-double against Hampton earlier this season. Morcell got it back, driving to the rim, aggressively Morcell.
Now, if there were ever a time to flex, that would have been it. Casey Morcell taking on all the contact at the rim, yet not deterred.
Normally, Morcell likes to step back into three-point real estate. He's 43% of the season. Decided to drive it, and the result was good. This is Marsh.
Well, I mean, when I say this number,
I know what you're going to say.
Many people will not believe me. Matthew Marsh is shooting 91% from the field this season. Not in ACC play, on the season.
Now, granted, most of the time he's relatively close to the rim.
I don't care.
Still,
91%.
That's about what Wake is shooting right now, too. 91% as Monsanto took the shot. It's a 3-second violation against Wake Forest. 5. Derek Wittenberg to Lorenzo Charles at the rim.
It wasn't a pass?
It was a pass.
No, it was not.
Joiner stepping back. Appleby grabs it.
Interesting to see how long Kevin keeps Taquavion Smith on the bench. 11:19 remaining here in this first half. And, of course, I'm sure Coach Keats trusts his dynamic scoring guard to be able to play without fouling at some point here in this first half.
Wake turning it over for the third time so far in the half. Monsanto hit the deck in a whistle. Well, we got a second. Let's check out the Ford keys to the game with Corey Alexander.
Well, for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, they have to take care of the basketball. 19 turnovers against Miami led to 34 points the last time out. And for NC State, they've got to defend without fouling because Wake Forest is one of the best in the ACC, especially Tyree Appleby, of getting to the free throw line.
Foul was on Dewana against NC State. Here's Appleby. Carr on the spin, taking away Joiner, accelerating, leading the break. And a whistle on the driving attempt at the rim, Ernest Ross.
That is the most underrated part of Jarkel Joiner's game, is what he does defensively. You see him taking on a much taller defender, but using his quickness not only to steal the basketball, but to get some offense going at the other end. Ernest Ross gets to the free throw line because of Jarkel Joiner's defensive effort.
So Ross at the line, 57% from the stripe on the season. His best game this year had to be the OT win against visiting Miami. Ross in that game, 17 points and 9 boards, both career highs for him.
Yeah, talking with with Coach L after that game, he simply said, we game planned for everyone. We were not expecting 17 points for Ernest Ross. And again, when Ernest Ross comes up and has a big game like that, normally you're not going to be able to beat the pack.
So you saw Hildreth lead the game with 2 personal fouls. He's got 6 points. Second leading scorer behind Appleby, who's got 9. Appleby's connected on 3 3-point tries on 4 attempts. Davian Williamson has come into the game for Wake Forest. Ron Gruber calls the foul.
But you see, Tyree Appleby continues to rack up the fouls on NC State. He's in constant motion, and he has the basketball in his hands so much, the highest usage rate by far in ACC basketball, and continues to put pressure on the rim.
I was knocked out of bounds by Thomas, trying to recover with the Appleby drive-by. So Thomas picked up that last personal foul, his first.
And Thomas comes on the floor and gives Jarkel Joiner a bit of a break, having to defend Appleby.
Appleby's pass picked off by Joiner, challenging Mark, off the glass and in.
What a luxury for Kevin Keats. So when your leading scorer, Quavion Smith, gets into foul trouble, you can continue to rely on Jarkel Joiner, the grad transfer guard, ACC Player of the Week, who is taking over this game, not offensively, but defensively as well.
That's now 9 points for Joiner. 84% from the free throw line, 9th best in the conference. And Joiner, by the way, now, Corey, has made 39 of his last 40 free throw attempts. Appleby out of a congested area to Carr, who hits a 3-ball.
Tyree Appleby getting into the teeth of the defense, remains patient, even though he's amongst the trees, keeps his eyes up, head up, and finds the shooter beyond the three-point line.
7 points for Andrew Carr. 31st made 3 of the season with double on Burns. Warcel, the catch and release. Warcel makes it a 1-point game. Shot clock to 10 for Appleby. Escape dribble. Gets the jumper away. Batted around, taken by Ross. 2-on-1. Joiner. The Pack has its first lead tonight.
NC State leads the ACC in fast break points, and that's been the key to success early here in this first half.
Angular rebound, run down by Ross, and he saved it on the sideline.
And right now, this is a mismatch for Joiner. He wants everybody to get out of the way and blow the doors off of Carr.
I see what you did there, by the way. Joiner could not quite get the engine revved up to full capacity. Appleby the other way. Perimeter work by Wake. Williamson can shoot the 3. He's made over 200 in his career. How about Klintman extending the range?
Bobby Klintman stepping up. He's been getting much more minutes as of late. The only player for Wake Forest who did not score in double figures in their game against Miami. However, he was the only guy in double figures rebounding. Continues to play better basketball early in his career.
And he just deflected that one out of bounds. 12 points, or 8 points rather, and 12 rebounds. A career high for Klintman, who just hit a 3, his 20th of the season.
That's been the difference in this game right now. 6 of 9 from beyond the three-point arc. As you see our guy, Torin Dorn, former ACC big-time hooper here with NC State, talking up Jarkel Joiner. And Joiner playing without Quavion Smith early in this half, has already picked up the 2 fouls.
Derek Wittenberg, Thurl Bailey, Terry Gannon in the background. Good seats tonight, right behind that pack bench for the 1983 National Championship team. And well-deserved and being honored this evening. There will be a ceremony at halftime. Thomas off the glass, calculates the angle.
L.J. Thomas has given Kevin Keats a lot of good minutes here with Quavion Smith on the bench, coming in defending Tyree Appleby, and now adding to him the offensive end as well.
Monsanto on the handoff, releasing the three, front rim. And they might have got Clinton in there, Corey, on the glass. First on Clinton.
Well, I mean, NC State leads the ACC in fewest allowed three-point field goals per game, and percentage at just over 30%, but they only normally give up right under 6 three-point field goals a game. Wake Forest already over that number with 6. So one of the things that Kevin Keats talked to us pregame about, they've got to keep them off the line. Haven't been able to have success with that so far.
Burns gets a rise from the crowd. Backing his way down on the block. Burns off the glass.
Nothing you can do. The third defender, as Davion Bradford steps up to take the challenge of guarding DJ Burns. He's already dealt with Marsh and Keller, and now it's Bradford's turn to be able to get some of that medicine. There's nothing you can do. If you're not going to send a trap, you're not going to have success stopping DJ Burns.
8 points now for Burns. Bradford is in the game with old golden block number 20. Shot clock down to 5 for Appleby in the entry. Bradford trying to get around Burns. Doesn't get the roll. Joiner 5 of 9 from the floor, 11 points. Only player in double digits so far here in the first half. Burns has a chance to join him in double figures. Got fouled by a defending Bradford.
And DJ Burns going to get to the free throw line. The first matchup between these two teams, NC State was 7 of 16 from the free throw line. DJ Burns 3 of 8. And it was not their strength, and it has not been their strength this season.
23 points in the second half of that game for Burns. While we have a moment, a message from Coyote Tractor.
In my experience, if you work the land, you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to have a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of get-go.
DJ Burns over 1,400 points in his college career, playing his 119th game.
And Kevin Keats right now content to keep Quavion Smith on the bench. Breon Pass getting his opportunity to get into the game for the first time for the Pack.
Just 3 points for Smith. Only played 6 minutes so far with the 2 fouls. This is Appleby. Cluttered area. Williamson. Clintman.
That was textbook defense by Jarkel Joiner on that last possession.
Clark lets it fly. Long rebound to Joiner. Reloads and a foul.
They're actually going to get Casey Morsell for offensive foul on that one. Trying to set the screen to keep Tyree Appleby away from Jarkel Joiner, who picked up the offensive rebound.
First foul against Morsell.
You see the offensive rebound coming off. Casey Morsell trying to just get in the way. I don't hate the call. I'm sure it wouldn't be a popular call in this building.
Wake Forest has 6 made threes on 11 tries. They average just over 9 per game. That's the best in the ACC. They're going up top with Marsh on the business end.
But the beautiful find from Tyree Appleby. We mentioned before, that's the reason why Marsh is shooting 91% from the floor. All high percentage shots.
Marsh is 2 for 2. Couple of dunks. Right back to Morsell attacking the rim. Held ball, and the arrow favors NC State.
A great job defensively by both Carr and Marsh going up vertically, not allowing Casey Morsell to get that shot off. Uncharacteristic air ball by Morsell, but gets it back. A nice offensive rebound by Jack Clark, but great job defensively by the Demon Deacons to keep him away from the basket.
Deep into the shot clock for Burns. Off the double and foul. Clark.
Carr saved that with the block.
Carr may have gotten a piece of that one. Inside 4.5 minutes to go, and a rapid first half of play. Hildreth a little follow-up. NC State is a team at 61% from the floor, way above their season average of 45%, 7th in the conference. Burns mid-range.
DJ Burns can do that as well. He has the touch to be able to stretch it out well beyond the free throw line. Knock down those mid-range jump shots, makes him even more dangerous.
12 points for Burns, 20th time this season. He's got the double figures in scoring. Appleby. Joiner. To Clark on the alley-oop.
Fast break points galore for the Wolfpack. Congratulating his teammates. He's still engaged, involved in this game, whether he's on the floor or not.
Second leading scorer in the ACC this season. He's played in just 7 minutes so far in the first half. Hildreth back to the basket. Against the double team. Got the defenders in the air, and Marsh follows with the rim bender.
Matthew Marsh continues to stay perfect. Was a perfect 5 for 5 against Miami. Perfect 3 for 3 here today. And again, high quality, high percentage shots for him.
72 of 79 from the floor for Marsh as Carr stumbled. Shot clock at 7. We're inside of 3 minutes to go in the first half. Hildreth the clearance.
One of the best rebounding guards in the ACC. Hildreth can rebound it and also push it. Make plays on the other end for the Demon Deacons, allowing them to play fast.
Monsanto.
ACC's leader in three-point field goals made per game. 3.23 made a game, and of course, he will let it fly. Doesn't have to be open to let it fly.
86 made threes so far this season. Damari Monsanto, best in the ACC. Joiner hangs and scores. 13 first half points. Jarkel Joiner. Hildreth not defended.
That's a dare shot. They simply said, we dare you shoot it. Of course, Cameron Hildreth can make threes. Steps up, knocks it down right in front of Kevin Keats.
Hildreth had only made 15 coming into the game. At the other end, it's Joiner, fouled in the act of shooting.
Well, if you love great guard play, this is the game to watch. Between Jarkel Joiner and what he's been able to get done on the floor. Tyree Appleby on the other end, as well as Cameron Hildreth. But Joiner has been the star. It was Tyree Appleby to start the game off, but ever since then, Jarkel Joiner has taken over.
16 points now for Joiner. Pretty much right on his season average. With 16.6 per game, tied for 7th in the ACC. Big upset in the ACC tonight. Corey, Boston College at home at Connie Forum with a victory over number 6 Virginia, 63-48. Virginia, the highest ranked ACC team.
But think about that, Werner. Virginia scored 48 points in that game. Right now, North Carolina State has 44 points. We still have a minute 45 remaining. That is a major difference in contrast of the game that we're seeing here compared to what happened at Concord Forum earlier this evening.
Well, keep in mind, Wake Forest averages 78 points per game. That is 3rd in the ACC, with Hildreth at the free throw line. Well, coming up on the Toyota halftime report, we'll show you the 40th anniversary celebration of the '83 national championship team for NC State. Your highlights and stats with Corey Alexander. What a night inside PNC Arena.
Wait, I got to work halftime?
I mean, you can stick around if you want to. I'd love to have you.
I got to talk to somebody.
We haven't worked together in years, Corey. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I agreed to work with you in the game, but
DJ Burns still working for NC State on the spin against Marsh.
But that's the dilemma. When you play against NC State, you can't allow DJ Burns to just back you down. You've seen he will dominate you in the post if you just allow him to play one-on-one. But also, he welcomes the double team. He wants the double team to happen, and he's looking for you to come trap. Enjoys passing the basketball, getting his teammates great looks.
Marsh picked up his second personal foul with Burns at the free throw line. 63% from the stripe of the season. That's point number 13 for DJ Burns. He is above his season average per game of 12.5.
But what's his average in 2023? It's been 2 seasons for DJ Burns. So when you look back at what happened, for NC State leading up to December 30th, and then ever since then, he's been a different guy.
He's had extended minutes with Dusan Mahorcic out with a kneecap injury. And Burns has responded.
Absolutely. People thought Kevin Keats was crazy for going out and not signing 1 but 2 centers in the transfer portal. And now you see who, of course, Keats, who's had a lot of bad luck with injuries. One of the reasons why he did so, and it's coming into fruition with DJ Burns playing great basketball.
Kevin Keats trying to get this team back to the NCAA tournament. Clark the steal, and the bounce back. It's Ross with the hammer. Monsanto with the response for 3.
Love his confidence. Not concerned about the crowd, not concerned about anything other than squaring his shoulders and knocking down a 3 to quiet PNC.
9 points, Monsanto. 3 3-point baskets. Final 25 seconds. Joiner left the defense in the dust and laid it in. Corey, how about 18 first-half points? Jarkel Joiner.
Stepping up to Quavion Smith, missing the majority of the first half. He has stepped up big time.
Final seconds. Monsanto on the handle. Lost it and went down, clutching his knee. Morcell, easy jam. Still 0.8 on the game clock. Monsanto down behind the play. Fell awkwardly and in some discomfort. Monsanto was clutching that left knee almost immediately as he tried to make the move. Saw his teammates, Corey, trying to help him up, but he turned him away.
Well, this is the interesting part, to see if he can put any pressure on that left leg. Gingerly walking off the floor right now. Have to keep an eye on that. You see, as you mentioned, awkwardly falling down, dribbling. And you hate to see that young man who's been playing great basketball throughout this season, already knocked down 2 huge threes to help his team here in this first half. Hopefully we will see him back in the second half.
We saw him at Notre Dame earlier this season, Corey, make 8 3-pointers and score 28 points, both career highs for Monsanto.
Yeah, 5 games this season where he's made 6+ 3-pointers. And again, leading the ACC in 3-point field goal makes per game.
Right now, this equals the largest lead of the first half for NC State. And they will take the lead to the locker room. And unfortunately for Coach Forbes, his best 3-point shooter just went down. And we'll see if Monsanto can get back into the lineup for Wake Forest in the second half. By the way, NC State this season, 18-1 with the halftime lead. So strong at home, they're 14-1.
I'll go back a little further when Coach Norm Sloan recruited me. And after our freshman year, he got a job in Florida, and we're sitting with our arms crossed and demeanor like we ain't listening. We don't want to hear what's coming up. And some really confident Italian guy walked into the room and sold us a bill of goods. and said, guys, look, you know, I'm going to win a national championship. I thought it was kind of selfish. He says, I'm going to win a national championship. And he said, just give me 25 minutes. He made that speech. We all bought in. And again, that journey doesn't happen unless we struggle, right? So it took us a little while. But that last year, probably one of the toughest schedules in the country. Carolina top 3 or 4, Virginia top 3 or 4. And so we struggled. We lost Derek Wittenberg for a bit, but then without Derek's injury, we don't get the Ernie Myers. We don't get the Lorenzo Charles. We don't get the best of those guys. So things started to come together. And of course, we had to win the ACC tournament really to have a significant chance of getting in the NCAA tournament. So yeah, we struggled, but you don't have a story like this without that struggle.
You got a chance to talk to the team yesterday. What was your message to these young guys? And you talk about 40 years have passed since you have played here. What is your message to these young guys here now 40 years later?
Guys, every time they walk into that practice facility, they see a couple banners up on them. They want that, you know, like we wanted it. And I told them, you know, there's a lot that's been talked about. The game is the game. But I said, guys, as Clark puts one down. Oh!
Clark with an awkward hit, trying to hang on the rim to avoid some contact, it looked like.
See Clark doing what he's been doing since getting back, coming up with the steal. And in that scenario, whenever you know that you are off balance, you've got to hang on the rim and not wanting to get the technical foul.
Especially if you only got it by your fingertip, let that thing go.
Absolutely, and that's one where you hate to see that fall. No foul play, no dirty play on that. That was simply just losing his balance, not being able to hang on the rim. And a young man who missed 10 games, just his 4th game back, you hate to see him having to deal with this right now. Hopefully he's able to get up and be okay.
So Clark is still seated on the baseline. Coach Keats over there as well.
Encouraging sign, though. He's sitting up, now getting up, walking off under his own power. So glad to see that for Jack Clark.
Yeah, and I could tell when we went to practice that these guys are connected in a special way. You know, I saw a lot of similarities. And again, basketball is basketball, but off the court is where you really make that bond a lot of times. And that's what I think our team had that was special. And I see a lot of that in this team as well.
And not just what your team had, but what your team has. It's great to see you guys getting together. Of course, a number of your guys no longer with us have passed on, but at the same time, those who are able still showing up. And you guys, you know, well connected still throughout, you know, text messaging, calling, this, that, and other. You guys make sure to stay in contact, correct?
We do. And that's really the special part of it. That was so many years ago, 40 years. I don't even think you're 40 years old.
I am.
Wait a minute. I actually know how old he is. I won't say it right now. But Thurl, we thank you so much.
Thank you,
enjoy
guys.
the moment. And it's great to be with your teammates, obviously. And who knows what this Wolfpack team may do this season.
Hey, nothing's impossible, guys. You know that. They know that.
Yeah, well, thank you for being an example, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate everything.
Thank you so much, Thurl. Thanks for stopping by.
All right.
The officials are over at the scorer's table, just taking a look at that previous play. And again, we thank Thurl Bailey for stopping by and talking with us. Thurl, part of that 1983 national championship team, does some television work with the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, officials
so popular.
Officials come away from that. There's nothing there. And again, there was no contact on that play. That was simply just, you know, Jack Clark. And I honestly believe that he was trying to hang on the rim, but his fingers slipped off of the rim. His intent was to hang on, knowing that his body was in a contorted position. Hopefully we'll see that young man, if not back on the floor today, back this weekend.
Came down on his shoulder and head, so hopefully he'll get further evaluation. And we'll check on Clark's status momentarily. The foul coming up on Morcell. Morcell now with 2 fouls. Opening moments of our second half, a 6-point halftime lead for NC State. Shot clock's at 10 for Wake and Clinton. Trying to work around Morcell. Burns just clearing a path and pulling it down one-handed.
Yeah, DJ Burns isn't the guy that's going to wow you with his athleticism. As Jaquavion Smith lines up with 3, unable to knock it down, but gets his own rebound. DJ uses positioning to get his rebound.
How about Morcell, and it's all net right in front of his own bench.
Second chance points for the Wolfpack.
Marsh on an alley-oop again.
I tell you what, if you're Matthew Marsh, you have to love playing alongside a guy like Tyree Appleby, knowing that every time he goes to the rim, it's a live opportunity for you.
Marsh deflected it to Carr. Marsh is now 4 for 4. And 4 dunks and 8 points. Appleby trying to work off the Marsh screen. Lost the handle up ahead. Smith. One-on-one with Carr. The Euro step. Out of bounds. And it will stay with NC State. So Damari Monsanto, who went out, he was clutching his left knee on an awkward move out on the perimeter. He's back on the bench for Wake Forest. We'll see if he's able to re-enter the game. And Jack Clark, who just came down hanging on the rim and then hit the floor, had to go back to the dressing room for further evaluation. So both teams dealing with those issues. Here is Burns working it into the paint with a power dribble. Too strong off the glass.
Another second chance opportunity. Casey Morcell misses badly on that one. Jaquavion Smith wide open on the other side, was jumping up and down looking for that basketball.
So it'll be Wake Forest ball. Seven-point lead for the Pack. Smith lines it up, knocks it down.
Welcome to basketball in 2023. Jaquavion Smith comes up with a huge steal. And instead of taking it to the rim, just hangs out around the three-point line, stops, pops, and it drops. So much pressure on the opposing team's point guard. 2 steals for him already in this game, but it's more so the pressure. Tyree Appleby, who got off to a great start, 9 points for him early in this game, hasn't been able to get going offensively ever since the first 4 minutes.
Appleby made his first 3 three-point attempts. $18 points for Joiner. That leads everybody. His teammates Morcell and Burns are in double digits. Appleby and Hildreth, double-digit scorers. Wake Forest in possession of the basketball. 4 turnovers for the Deacs in the last 3 minutes. They won both of the meetings during the regular season last year. 2-point loss at home to NC State earlier this season.
Nice patience by Carr once again to allow Ernest Ross to get in the air. The pump fake gets him in the air and waiting for him to jump, and then the second guy off the floor, but the first guy to finish.
9 points now for Andrew Carr. Much needed bucket, Wake Forest. Difference is 8. Burns through the Williamson double, produced a turnover. Williamson behind the line for a 3 for Wake Forest.
And a knockdown shooter. You lose Monsanto for the second half. Davian Williamson steps into the lineup, picks up the effort from beyond the three-point arc. Wake Forest continues to shoot the basketball great from beyond the arc.
First points of the game. Davian Williamson. Morcell, that's a hot corner. Weak side Marsh taps it up to Williamson. Appleby had it deflected by Morcell. Smith chugs his way up the middle of the court. And a foul called as he attacked the rim. So a foul on the Demon Deacs. Carr will pick it up, his first.
75 and under makes you a quad one if you're able to get a win on the road. Well, I'm sorry. That would actually give NC State a quad one win. If Wake Forest is a 75 or under, the win for NC State in Winston-Salem becomes a quad one win because they went in and beat a team at home. So, again, the net ranking, none of us really understand it, and we don't understand what it's used for. But the eye test, this Wake Forest Demon Deacon team has played very good basketball throughout this year, one of the best offensive teams you'll see in the league.
Wake Forest 17-10 on the season, 9-7 in conference play. Trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2017. When they did that, that was the first time since 2010 that they got to the tournament. Foul called on Morcell, his third.
DJ Burns trying to get the crowd not to talk about the officials right now. I love the relationship that DJ Burns has built with the student section and the crowd here at PNC just in his first season with the Wolfpack.
Clintman to Marsh, tough catch out of bounds.
Yep. That plays a little different, Wormy, when coming from Bobby Clintman in comparison to Tyree Appleby. Tyree Appleby knows exactly when to get to the right spot and oftentimes makes defenders think that he's shooting the basketball, allowing for Marsh to get open as Appleby will return to the game. Steve Forbes has seen enough for this start on the bench.
That is Burns. Contact inside. Free throws upcoming. And Wake Forest has now turned it over 12 times. 19 turnovers Saturday at Miami. That resulted in 34 points. And a loss at number 15 Miami, 96-87. And Burns to the free throw line for NC State. Coming off of that incredible victory on Sunday against North Carolina, 77-69.
Look around the ACC with Virginia losing tonight. Miami goes to first place in the ACC. Pittsburgh still in third, but I believe Pitt will actually move ahead. They have that head-to-head win over Virginia. I believe Pitt may actually go to second, pushing Virginia to third. Clemson at fourth, got a win tonight. And NC State right now at fifth, but looking to try to get in those top four spots to get that double bye in the ACC tournament.
70th ACC tournament in Greensboro. Coming up in a couple of weeks, 29th time at the Greensboro Coliseum. A lot of dribbling from Appleby. Shot clock's down to 6 for Hildreth. Ross deflected it. Demon Deacs will not get a shot away.
Steve Forbes not happy about that, not getting a shot attempt off. But really, when you look at these two teams, this is the difference between the two. Both great scoring teams, but what the Wolfpack are able to do defensively, forcing turnovers, allows them to score in different ways.
It's now 13 turnovers in the game for Wake. NC State on average forces about 10. That's third in the conference. And that's Burns' turnaround, 17 points.
Great touch by the big fella around the basket.
16 points now for NC State off of those Wake Forest turnovers. Appleby recovers. Hildreth. Long rebound to Morcell and the handoff Smith. Way behind the line. Gotta watch out for that shoelace as well for Smith. Again, the Pack with those throwback 1983 uniforms from the championship team, honored at halftime. 40th anniversary of the 1983 national title against Houston in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Easy board for Marsh.
Both teams have cooled off since the percentage we saw from them shooting in the first half.
Appleby. So Wake Forest now, Corey, down to 60% from the floor.
Yeah, down to 60.
Yeah, did I just say that? NC State 57%. Burns, fouled Ross. Joiner.
Kevin Keats on the floor pointing out that he felt like Carr was in the restricted area. We get a look. Andrew Carr does a great job getting those heels outside of the restricted area. Great call. Earl Walton right on top of it.
First foul on Joiner. Smith tying up that shoe.
Yeah, you brought that to everyone's attention. The officials knew that.
Safety first.
Exactly.
Safety first.
Exactly. You sound like someone who's fallen down over a shoestring competition.
Maybe in a church league game. Hildreth on the run. Clipman uncorks a three. Goes out of bounds, and that is off of Wake Forest.
If that shot goes down, we will be watching that highlight for a long time. Hildreth actually threw the basketball off the back of Morcell because he couldn't get it in bounds. Smart play by Cameron Hildreth. That's a press breaker in itself.
Sleight of hand from Hildreth. Shot clock to 10, game clock to 12 minutes. Deliberate possession from NC State. Smith trying to beat the buzzer, strong up the glass.
And that's the luxury you have with Jaquavion Smith. Just a young man that can go out and get a bucket. You don't need a screen. You don't need to call a play for him. You can just put the basketball in his hands, and he can go get you points.
He's got 9 in the game. Had 33 points earlier this season against Coppin State, the most by an NC State player. Carr the miss. Smith around Hildreth. Almost got it back. Here's Williamson. Clinton went to the floor to try to take it back. But a foul was called. 70th ACC tournament, Greensboro, North Carolina. Work to be done between then and now for both of these clubs. Up near the rim, knocked away from Dewana. Almost recovered there. And the officials have whistled Wake Forest for the foul. You want to stay tuned for the Fast Break, presented by your local Ford dealer, starring Corey Alexander.
Hey, I like it.
Clintman just picked up his 4th personal foul. Steve Forbes will not like that. But we want you to stay tuned for the Fast Break. Take a look at some of the upcoming action on your regional sports network. Smith. Appleby runs it up. Hildreth. Trying to beat Morcell to the rim. It was deflected. An erratic possession right now for Wake Forest.
That's why you get the basketball in this guy's hands. But Ernest Ross having none of it. Erasing that shot off the glass.
Morcell almost stumbled down. Able to keep his footing. The Virginia transfer, 2nd year of the NC State program. Williamson all over Joiner. Finally shakes him. Bounces off to Hildreth. Carr and Joiner kind of got tangled up a little bit there.
And again, a contrast in styles for NC State. Right? They were doing it offensively in the first half. This second half, it's been about their defense that's allowed them to build this 11-point lead. Haven't been making shots, but they're not allowing Wake Forest to score either.
It's a mini 6-0 run for NC State with Wake in possession and Clinton. Rolls out of bounds and stays at this end of the floor.
But another strong defensive stand. Only 4.5 seconds remaining on the shot clock for the Demon Deacons to try to get a good look here and give the Wolfpack a lot of credit for the way they've locked down defensively.
Late in the shot clock for Wake, which had won 3 in a row prior to the loss at Miami on Saturday. Williamson fires out of the corner. Marsh keeps it alive. This is Carr trying to get to the rim, and Joiner and Ross in the neighborhood.
Tell you what, that's a lot of skill for a 6'10" guy to be able to make that move. Nice ball handling by Andrew Carr, the behind the back, and then able to get to the rim, trying to finish it over top of 2 shot blockers for the Wolfpack. Gets the foul, opportunity to put 2 points on the board at the line.
First foul on Ross puts Carr at the free throw line. First attempts of the evening. In fact, Wake had only been to the line 4 times before that trip by Carr, who is now in double digits with 10 on the made free throw court.
But that's such a strong component of Wake Forest and what they do. You go back and look at the first matchup between these two teams. Wake Forest outscored NC State by 12 at the free throw line. So again, it's one of the staples of Steve Forbes' offense, especially with Tyree Appleby getting downhill and attacking the basket. Here's a stat for you, Wormy. In the last 4 games coming into this one, NC State has taken 27 total free throws. Tyree Appleby took 28 by himself against North Carolina.
And made 23 of those 28 attempts. Both of those numbers, by the way, ACC records. That is Smith on a deep 3. Hildreth took it all the way to the bucket.
And we saw a lot of that from Cameron Hildreth in the first half, attacking the basket, getting downhill, using that size and strength to score over the defenders of NC State. And now a 7-point game. Wake Forest starting to find some momentum.
13 points for Hildreth. Williamson on Smith. Aggressive defending. Shot clock's at 10. Burns a mile from the rim. 7 on the shot clock. By the way, Appleby has not gone to the free throw line in this game, Corey.
Well, that was one of the keys for NC State, to be able to defend without fouling.
Right again. First bucket.
Now, did DJ Burns give an assist for that?
He's at home. Generous scoring. Greg Gant. 1 basket, and he's above his season average of points.
My guy John Magic give me the thumbs down, but he's not having it.
Carr, that was online. Is the hair too strong? Smith wants it. Over Appleby. $11 points for Smith. Double digits 28 times this season. That'll be 3 free throws on the crafty play by Appleby. 70-59, the Wolfpack out in front of the Demon Deacs. Here is the drive presented by Defender.
Quavion Smith getting out in the fast break. Tyree Appleby hustling back, but nothing to do with Quavion getting to the rim and finishing it off, getting himself into double figures and building the lead to 11 for the Pack.
The sophomore from Greenville, North Carolina, second leading scorer in the ACC. Last year he made 96 three-pointers to lead the conference. Came into the evening with 80 made threes for Terquavion Smith. Added 1 to the total tonight with Appleby at the free throw line.
Wake Forest right now started off this game making 9 of their first 15 three-point field goal attempts in the first half. Second half, only 1 of 9. They're going to have to find the range from beyond the arc to be able to get back into this game, simply because right now they're struggling to stop the Wolfpack on the other end.
Third free throw for Appleby, who was fouled before the break on the three-point shot. 14 points, Tyree Appleby. As a team, Wake is second best in the ACC. Three-point shooting, 37% on the season. That goes out of bounds. Burns could not handle the pass. A little bit of frustration.
Yeah, careless turnover right there by Terquavion Smith and DJ Burns. I'm not sure which one will get the turnover, but Kevin Keats immediately getting Jarkel Joiner, the point guard, back on the floor. And amazing when you look at this, North Carolina State team, although Joiner is more the point guard, Terquavion Smith is a leading assist guy for this team. So again, they share the responsibility with the ball in hand.
Carr trying to keep his footing, handed it off to Marsh. Not a lot still on the way up.
I believe that's the first missed shot for Matthew Marsh in the last 2 games.
Three-pointer, Joiner.
And this is about the time of the game on Sunday where Jarkel Joiner took off. And NC State made 12 of their last 13 field goals. The only miss was a missed dunk by Ernest Ross on a fast break.
21 points for Joiner. Leads everybody with that figure. That was his first 3 of the game. He's 1 for 5 from three-point distance. Carr driving into traffic.
Smith for 3. A little late on that one. Jarkel got him that one. I believe we were seeing Terquavion pull up.
Yeah, comes flying out of nowhere. Ball did not hit the rim. Joiner on target. Jarkel Joiner, 29 points. In the win against North Carolina, he's got 23 tonight. Appleby with a kind bounce.
Jarkel Joiner got an opportunity to get a little bit of a rest. Kevin Keats got him out of the game, and of course he comes back in with fresh legs. Able to pull up from 3, knock it down in transition, and then getting off the pick and roll, getting to his mid-range where he's been dangerous all night long. Knocks down the 2.
See in the back of the huddle there, number 5 with the sling, left shoulder injury. Jack Clark obviously will not return. He went in for a jam earlier in the half and tried to brace himself, tried to hang on to the rim, and he just couldn't. He fell awkwardly for it.
But you think about what he brings to this lineup, his ability to shoot the 3, and of course the offensive rebounding and the steals. An energy guy who can score at that 4 position. Right now, of course, Greg Gant, Ernest Ross are guys who can give them the defensive side, but they don't do offensively what Jack Clark does. This NC State team getting a lot better with Jack Clark in the mix, in the lineup. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see him back soon.
He's a transfer from LaSalle. He's already missed 10 games this season with a core muscle injury. Closing in on 5.5 minutes to go in regulation. Joiner. Even though the pass was way off to his left, didn't stop the flow and the rhythm of the shot, Corey.
Well, and that's 3 straight buckets by Jarkel Joiner. We talked about the performance he had to end the game against North Carolina when they ended on a 29-15 run. And Jarkel Joiner was the guy in the second half of that game.
26 points for Joiner, and that's Appleby at the other end for the Demon Deacons.
And that's not good. As important as Tyree Appleby is to this team, seeing him with any type of injury, any type of ailment, is a level of concern for Steve Forbes. And as he gets downhill, not sure what happened on that to cause the discomfort. But Appleby still had the concentration to be able to finish.
Appleby's an 84% free throw shooter. 3 of 4 from the line for Appleby, and all those tries coming to the second half. He leads the league in free throws attempted and made, trying to recover and catch Joiner. Burns puts it on the floor. It will fall. And a big flex from the big man. 19 points, Burns.
DJ Burns is so skilled. You look at his opportunity facing up Marsh, just shows the pump fake, puts it on the floor, and going to that dominant left hand. And, of course, always willing to flex and go over and hang out with his teammates. Of course, he has fit in so well here at NC State.
Despite the miss, 19 points for DJ Burns and 7 of 9 from the floor. 56% shooting NC State, 53% Wake Forest. Appleby.
And that's a tough shot by Tyree Appleby, but it's a tough shot because Jarkel Joiner does the job fighting over the screens and forcing him to have to step back to get the shot off.
Wake made 15 threes in the loss to Miami. It wasn't enough. They've made 11 tonight. And it's an uphill climb with 4:17 to go for Wake Forest, trailing 80-67. Coach Keats took the program to the NCAA tournament back in 2018, his first year. Trying to return. Burns could be a big factor.
You cannot guard him one-on-one. I don't care who you are. You're not guarding him one-on-one. You've got to bring the double team, and when you do, he is a willing and excellent passer.
Hildreth calls a timeout. Nowhere to go.
We've talked about Jarkel Joiner, but right now it's the DJ Burns.
Our Coyote Tractor turning point.
And the turning point was when Kevin Keats decided to put Jarkel Joiner back in the game. It was an 8-point lead for NC State, and a 7-0 run by Jarkel Joiner increased the lead to 15, just like that.
26 points to lead everybody. Jarkel Joiner, that includes a couple of threes, and 11 of 19 from the floor. Hildreth around the curl. Williamson tees up a three. NC State's won 6 of its last 8 games, 7 in a row, Corey, at home against ACC opponents. The longest same season streak in program history late in the shot clock.
You brought it up, Wormy. The Wolfpack 14-1 at home this season, only lost to no, they beat Miami here. As a matter of fact, who did they?
They beat Miami in overtime. Pitt, they lost.
They lost to Pitt here.
Yes.
So when you go back and look at the record, that was an early December game when they lost to Pittsburgh.
That was December 2nd, 68-60.
And this team is playing with tremendous confidence, especially here in front of the crowd that has supported them extremely well all season long.
It's a tough shot from Burns, well defended by Carr, giving up a few pounds. How about Wake Forest? 2 of 12 on 3-point shots in the second half. You can make it 2 of 13.
Well, without making threes, it's going to be difficult for Wake Forest to win the game. And we have to also mention Damari Monsanto went out at the end of their first half, so the leading 3-point shooter as far as per game makes unavailable for the Demon Deacons here in the second half, and that changes things drastically for them on the offensive end of the floor.
13 points now for Smith after that jumper. A win tonight for NC State would be 22 wins, the most in the regular season since 1988 for this PAC program.
An opportunity to look around the ACC. Virginia going down by a significant margin. 15-point loss for the Hoos at Conte Forum. Boston College led the entire game. Clemson getting back to its offensive ways, scoring 91 points. And, of course, they will come into PNC on Saturday for a showdown between the 4th and 5th teams in the ACC right now.
Top 4 seeds at the ACC tournament get the double bye. Don't have to play till day 3 in Greensboro. That is Carr. 13 points.
And Wormy, you mentioned that, of course, Clemson and NC State in the mix. Another team that you have to think of starting to get healthy. The Duke Blue Devils are looking really good as of late. They've run off a couple wins back-to-back, getting their full complement of players in the mix.
Blue Devils have won 3 in a row. Out of the corner, it's Joiner. And then he runs into Appleby. It appeared to be an inadvertent collision, but Appleby does need some attention.
Well, Appleby was dealing with that calf earlier after attacking the basket. And you see Joiner, as Appleby grabs the calf, and as Joiner's just running back, the two collide inadvertently, as you mentioned, but Appleby was already dealing with that calf issue. Hopefully it's just a cramp.
Well, Joiner's up to 29 points now to match his output on Sunday against North Carolina, and they're checking on Tyree Appleby. 58 points in the last 2 games. Good to see Appleby up and moving around.
Of course, you got to mention Tyree Appleby leads the ACC in minutes per game. This guy has played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, over 36 minutes per game.
Already without Monsanto in this second half.
38 minutes tonight for Appleby, who is going to that Wake Forest bench. So on a night where NC State honored the national championship team from 1983, many of the members of that team honored at halftime. NC State has honored that championship with its effort tonight against Wake Forest, and that's Williamson. 5 points, Williamson. 40th anniversary of that national title.
You're getting old, Wormy.
That means you're getting old too, my friend.
Remember that game?
You're headed for a big birthday. Happy birthday in advance. How's that?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
We're into the final minute of play. So Corey talked about NC State, how strong it has been at home. 14-1, 7-1 in conference play. This will be their 22nd win of the season. Last year, you were talking about the tournament, right, Corey? Last year, they lost in the first round to Clemson. So it was a quick exit. 5 teams out of the ACC made the NCAA tournament field. 2 to the Final Four.
And amazing the fact that you talk about that losing to Clemson last year. That was on a Tuesday. These 2 teams now looking to see if they can play on Thursday. That's a big difference in fortunes for both the Wolfpack and the Tigers this year. Big game coming up on Saturday here at PNC. And you can imagine the crowd here will be rocking, understanding the importance of that game.
Winners of 7 of their last 9 games. Is it going your way tonight? Off the backboard and in. Breon pass with the punctuation on this one. Ross knocks it out of bounds, and that's it. 90-74. The Wolfpack over the Deacs.
Strong effort by the Wolfpack in this game. Jarkel Joiner, once again, another 29-point effort. 3 for 7 from beyond the arc. He did it all for the Pack.
What a night for NC State, 97.